my podcast where I talk about whatever I want, and you can't change me, okay? You can't tell me what to do. I'll do whatever the fuck I want. Wait, let me turn the metronome off. All right, cool. So, hope y'all are having a great start to your week. It is Wednesday, so I guess it started 2 days ago, but my point still stands. We got 3 topics today, I think, that we're going to touch base on. So let's get right into it. The first topic we're going to touch on was submitted by Macy, and it reads as follows. Where do you look for / find inspiration when you experience creative block / feel unmotivated? And well, that's a great question, honestly, because I just feel like, not to sound cheesy, I guess, but I really do feel like you can kind of find inspiration anywhere. You know, being a producer who makes 5 beats a day, not everything I make is like, this is instant, this is so fucking good, like, oh my God. You know, if I make 5 beats a day, on average, 1 or 2, I'll be like, these are hard as fuck, bangers, you know? And that's good. That's a good ratio. There's nothing wrong with that, because I think it's equally as important to make beats that aren't good or do something that you don't like as much, so you can either build off of it later on or kind of understand what things you might do that you don't like, if that makes sense. Like, there's singles I have, and I can't even call them singles because they're not singles and they're not released, but there's shit I've made before where I'm just like, fuck it, I'm gonna just like do this random thing on this beat, and I mean, there's a reason it's never dropped, you know, because I don't like how it sounds, or the idea I was going after didn't really transfer well, or maybe it's even too redundant, as in like I'm going for a specific sound and it sounds so similar to what I'm trying to go for that there's no fucking point in me even putting it out or following it further. I think it's important though to have like exercises of marketability, I guess you could say. Whereas in like, you know, you want to be your own person, your own producer, your own artist always. You don't want to just be what everyone else is. But simultaneously, there's a part of you that if you want to attach yourself to a more mainstream sound, you have to learn how to do that. You have to understand how the mainstream sound works. So for example, just a fucking off-the-cuff example, because I was talking about with Eric's about this in the last podcast, which is like, you know, rage beats, for example. Miss the Rage, Yeet, you know, artists like that, where everyone's just getting on rage beats. Trippie Redd, everyone's getting on rage beats. The underground is full of rage beats. It's so Fago, fucking Ty Fontaine, fucking anyone. Because rage beats are all the rage. And thank you. I just came up with that joke. I wrote it 3 years ago. Waited till today to say it. Very original, very clever, I know. But seriously, what I'm trying to say is that if, you know, rage beats are a really popular sound, especially right now. So it's not a bad exercise to make beats in that style, because then you understand kind of like the foundation, you know, and you can build off of that. Like now you understand how a rage beat is supposed to sound, how a rage beat is built. So what you do from there is you take your own approach to it. You know, let's say you made 5 rage beats to try to like hone in the sound, and then finally you're like, okay, like I now know how to make a rage beat. So now how do I take elements from this popular sound and add my own twist to it, add my own flair, make it interesting, make it unique, not make it like Trippie Redd type beat 8,452, where it's like they all basically sound the same. You know, they got like the synth leads, the little chords. I mean, I'm just describing any beat right now, but you know what I'm talking about. Rage beats have a very specific sound. So I think it's honestly a good exercise to do that. I've done that multiple times. Where like rage is popular sound, so I'll drop a rage beat on YouTube. But that rage beat I dropped on YouTube came after like 2 or 3 iterations of me trying the sound, making a beat, realizing it is not very original and it is very standard, and being like, okay, I'm not going to drop this necessarily, but this exists and I know I can make it now if I need to. Not only make it, but back to my other point, which is you can now add your own twist to it, add your own flair to it, make it interesting, make it unique, not faceless, not unoriginal. You're inspired by a sound, but you're still taking an original approach to it. And that's really the beauty of music production. And I guess this is more as for producers than artists, right? But I think that's a really great exercise to do. The original topic was where do you look for / find inspiration where you experience creative block / feel unmotivated? So that's one thing I like to do is exercise practicing sounds that are more mainstream, more popular, and that doesn't always work. This is just one thing I do when I'm feeling kind of blocked, is like instead of trying something that is like more me or more out there, I'll try to do something else first and kind of evolve from that after getting some practice in. But continuing, another way I kind of go past creative block or when I feel unmotivated, since we're on the same subject, is actually I'll do the complete opposite of what I just said. I will sit in front of my computer, pick a random sound, play random shit on it, and make a beat. And even if I'm not loving it, I'm kind of getting the bad ideas out there or just the not great ideas, because not every idea you have is going to be great in that moment. Some of your bad ideas in the past can become great ideas later on, especially if you're a producer. So it's kind of important to try everything once. You know what I mean? And save even your bad ideas. So, again, I'm someone that tries to make like 5 beats a day. So most of the time I'll literally do that. I'll just open it up, start with a sound, think of a chord progression, and just riff on it. Add drums, add everything else. And a lot of the time what I do is I'll end up making like a whole 5 minutes worth of beat with a lot of changing and variation and lead, synth, sounds, chords, drums, everything. And then I'll just take the best 4-bar loop, 8-bar loop, 16-bar loop, and just take that and then make an entirely separate beat of it, taking the best ideas from when I was just like creatively riffing instrumentally. Does that make sense? So it's like I'll have a 5-minute beat that then I turn into like a 1.5 or 2-minute beat with like an intro, chorus, verse, chorus, arrangement type shit. And that really helps. Instead of kind of just like trying to hone yourself down into the template of making a beat that has that variation, try making one with no template whatsoever. And then like just keep building on it until you get certain parts you like, and then just take those parts and create an entirely new sound out of that. So that's something that helps me a lot. Another way I find inspiration is I try to listen to music I've never heard before, at least once a day. And I'm not talking about like hip hop music. I mean, even though I do that sometimes too, but I'm talking about like put a random album on from like a 70s jazz band and just listen to it, And I'll start getting little ideas for like chord progressions or melodies or leads, or sometimes even lyrics or song concepts, or even just feelings of how I want songs to feel. I really like that. Tyler, the Creator, actually said that once. He said that when he wakes up, he tries to listen to like 2 hours of new music every day. And I think that's great. I've started doing that too. Not 2 hours every day. But again, just going out of your comfort zone, listening to something you normally wouldn't listen to and something you haven't really heard before. Obviously, I know I just said not always hip hop, but sometimes yes, hip hop. I'll just put on like a random artist, or like I'll find like some underground SoundCloud album that I'm just like, I've been putting off listening to this for a while. I'm just going to listen to it, see what comes out of it, All good solutions to creative block. Unmotivated, though. Feeling unmotivated, I feel like is different than everything else in this question. And again, the question was, where do you look for / find inspiration when you experience creative block / feel unmotivated? Because you can find, like I said at the beginning, I think you can find inspiration anywhere, like just listening to random shit, talking to people, being around people even. But feeling unmotivated is a little different than that. Because feeling unmotivated isn't like not being inspired, or you just like don't know what to do. Feeling unmotivated is like not wanting to work, put in that effort, to kind of like put yourself out there, create something. So honestly, what I do when I feel unmotivated is I will usually force myself to make something. And yeah, I mean, most of the time doesn't go great. As in, like, most of the time I don't really make something I love. At least not the first time. But then if I do like a second beat, a third beat, then I'm like, I kind of get the unmotivated out and I start fleshing out the bad ideas. And then I get to some great ideas that I can expand upon either in that moment or later. But also with feeling unmotivated, another thing that helps is the complete opposite. People that know me, and if you do know me, you know this about me. Like, I'm very much about everything being a spectrum and trying everything once. So like how I was saying earlier in the podcast, like if I'm feeling unmotivated, sometimes I'll just force myself to do it. But other times, if I'm feeling unmotivated, I will not open Logic for like 2 days, 3 days. And then I'll just simmer on ideas that I like get throughout the day, either while I'm at work or while I'm walking outside or like shooting some footage or doing whatever. And then by the time it's been 2 or 3 days, I have all these like pent up ideas that I need to get out. So then when I do get back in the studio, it's like 10 beats a day. Because I held off on doing it. And I think it's important to try both because not everyone's going to be the same. Some people are going to say that you should do it no matter what. You should just like make a beat every day, even if you don't feel like it at all. And some people will say, take a step back and until you're ready. I say do both. Do both. You know what I'm saying? There's also days, I have pretty severe ADHD. It's gotten kind of worse this last year or two. But like while I'm making beats, I'll have another computer next to me and I'll be playing something. And I think a visual aid helps a lot when you're creating music and sounds. Even writing lyrics if you're an artist, I remember Mac Miller said, he made watching movies with the sound off while watching movies with the sound off, like on mute, And that shit inspired me because I understand that, Like you just put on like a Quentin Tarantino movie in the background, just watch it. The visual helps come up with ideas in your head. The visual helps you kind of create something. You're inspired by what you're seeing. It's better than just staring at your blank Logic screen and being like, I can't think of anything. Well, obviously you can't think of anything. You're not inspired by anything at that moment. You were just staring at a black screen. So that's something that helps me. I'll also watch shit like, I love House, honestly, like House MD. I'm kind of at the season that isn't that great. Like the show's kind of falling off. It's like the second to last season. I already saw the first 7. So I'm not really watching House, but I'm also watching Community right now. And Community is kind of like The Office, but way more surreal and quirky. And I kind of like that. It's a great show for what it is. There's so many elements to it that are like meta and fourth wall breaking and just like cool. But for example, I'll do that. I'll be making a beat and I'll put on Community in the background and I'll just like watch it. Some of the shit they say might inspire me. Some of the themes of the show might inspire me. Some of whatever I'm interacting with will inspire me. But that's me because I am an overly stimulated person. You know what I mean? So, yeah, sorry, I lost my train of thought. Let's look at the question one more time, though. Question reads, where do you look for / find inspiration when you experience creative block / feel unmotivated? And you know what? I think I covered a lot of bases, mainly as a producer, though. But if you're an artist, the movies thing definitely helps. Like, write lyrics especially. Or if you have availability to this, I do this all the time. I'll just put on a beat and like start freestyling. And most of the time it's trash because I freestyle more in flow and melody than I do words. So my freestyles a lot of the time will not have they'll have a lot of nonsense words. But, you know, I'm building the flow, I'm building a melody, I'm building like how I want it to sound. And that helps, and it is also fun, because when you're taking yourself less seriously, I feel like you will make better art. When you take yourself too seriously, you're putting too much pressure on yourself, and it's not worth it, especially if you're not somebody that is like making their money through music. Like I'm talking about like being able to pay all of your bills through your art. If you're doing that, congratulations, I envy you. I hope to get there one day. That is like my first milestone goal, is if I can pay all my bills and buy food and treat me and my loved ones just off my art, just off selling beats and making music, then that's like the first milestone of I made it, you know? I say first milestone because then once I'm at that point, there's going to be more steps. I'm going to want to evolve more. But that's like my first milestone, is being able to pay my bills, buy food, and treat my loved ones just through my artistry, just through my music. So yeah, I kind of got distracted again. Swag. And another thing I wanted to mention is something that helps me a lot. I know I just talked about freestyling, but when I'm freestyling by myself, it's a very different mood and atmosphere than if I'm freestyling with friends. If there's a bunch of people around me that are also freestyling, I feel like coming up with shit is even easier because you're just building off each other's energy, off each other's bars. And so another thing is, yeah, if you feel unmotivated lyrically especially, I would say just like get together with your friends and try to record some shit. Just try to freestyle and get some of that energy out there in that way, you know? The next topic I want to talk about, this one was submitted by Plaque Bussy. And Plaque Bussy's was less of a question and more of just a topic to talk about. He said, believing in yourself. So this is a really interesting thing because I think, well, first of all, let me say this. No one will believe in you the way you believe in yourself. No one will work harder than you to achieve what you want to achieve in life. And that's kind of a misconception a lot of the time. And I'm not saying that everyone that you know is out to get you or they don't fuck with you or whatever. That's not the case, even though the world is cutthroat. I'm saying more so like, if you want to be, let's say, like one of the biggest artists in the world, no one's going to believe in you more than you believe in yourself. No one's going to work harder for that more than you will have to work hard for that. And it's kind of interesting. It's like a weird exponential effect where I feel like a lot of people, you know, won't fuck with you when you're on the come up unless they like genuinely fuck with you until it gets to the point where you're big enough to make a noise and then they start fucking with you, even if they knew you were making shit from a long time ago. And yeah, I have my own personal jealousy, reservations, call it whatever you want about that. But I legitimately do. And I'm okay with venting it because, I mean, this is my podcast. I'll talk about whatever I want, you know? But I feel like most of the time, people that you know, especially, will not ride harder for you than you will. recently I figured out that honestly, some strangers that fuck with you will ride just as hard for you. You know what I'm saying? Like people that don't know you for who you are, but just know you as you, the artist, which I find really interesting. Like there's this guy on YouTube that every single time I post a video, within 10, 15, 20 minutes, he comments on it. He likes it. He lets me know what kind of beat he wants to hear next. You know, he like really engages and he's like there every single time I post. And this is a literal random fucking stranger. I don't know who this person is, you know? But he believes in me. He fucks with what I do. And that is just, I mean, it's an amazing feeling. But I guess that only comes from believing in yourself. And this is how I wrap it all around, right? If you expect other people to believe in you in order for you to believe in yourself, that will never happen. You have to believe in yourself so strongly that you will put in hours, days, weeks, months, maybe years of work and have it go completely unnoticed by most people. You have to be willing to do that for a long time until you get to a point where, because you've believed in yourself so much and you kept going the whole time, writing for yourself, pause, that like you really have to be willing to just do that to an audience of no one but yourself until you get the recognition you desire. You know what I'm saying? And even that will take years. It's very rare that somebody puts in very little work and gets a large amount of accolades off the bat. It does happen, but a lot of people think that the anomalies are what happens all the time. Like if you're just some kid making music, don't have an audience, and you make a fire song, chances are 99% of the time, just because the song is fire, it's not going to blow up just because you're talented and it's good or any of that shit. You have to build an audience. And how do you build an audience? You either sign to a record label or you create it for yourself by staying consistent and believing in yourself, even if you feel like nobody else believes in you, even if you feel like nobody else is watching, you know? Because that's when it really shines. Obviously, people are going to ride for you when you are, you know, high up, when you're somewhere you've wanted to be the whole time, when you're like doing things when you're doing things you wanted to do your whole life and like achieving what you were looking for. Obviously, then people are going to ride for you. The important part is doing it when no one is riding for you, when the only person riding for you is yourself. And that's really what I think believing in yourself is all about, is staying so true to yourself and putting in the work so consistently that you get to a point where you almost don't even care about the recognition because you believe in yourself so much. And trust me, at that moment, when you stop caring about the recognition, that is when it will come to you. If you focus on getting it, chances are that's the way the universe works. If you try to grasp and hold on to something, it's going to be more resistant in the universe. The way to truly achieve it is to let go. Rid yourself of the desire. Do things for you because you want to, because you believe in yourself, because you fuck with you. And I guarantee you it will pay off in the long run. Believe in yourself. No one else will believe in you as much as you believe in yourself. And that's said with a lot of love. You know what I'm saying? Let's see what the next topic is. I think there was one more. Okay, and this one is a much shorter one. I don't know if the word is shorter, but it is easier to touch on. My boy RCY, who has made 3 videos with me. He's such a dope fucking visual artist. Go fuck with him. And his question was, who are your favorite visual artists in the underground? Well, I mean, off the bat, RCY. At the RCY Project on Instagram. Super dope. super talented, young kid, really living his dreams, getting paid to do what he loves. It's amazing. It's inspiring, honestly. He's done visuals for all of Anti-World, Shark, Cyber, for Yunk, I don't know how to pronounce it properly, YVNCC. But he's super talented, super dope visual artist. His VHS shit goes crazy. Again, can't stress it enough. Super talented guy, super kind person, goal driven, passionate. Just a cool ass guy. I have a lot I can say about him because I know him, you know. But yeah, go fuck with him. Other visual artists I really fuck with are Eris Klein. My boy Salamander Sam put me on him. He actually lives like literally around the block from where I live right now. So I'm definitely going to try to meet up with him soon. Not even just to work on visuals. I mean, that would be cool, but I just like need friends in LA. Confession, I have no friends here. And it sucks. I really wish I had some friends that lived in LA. So it would be cool to just meet like-minded people, like producers, artists, creatives, photographers, videographers, whatever. Just people that are creative, into fashion, into anything. I need a friend group here. I've been here like 2 months now. And I'm not ashamed to admit that I literally have no friends. It's kind of sad. But it is what it is. So Eris Klein, he's worked with Baby Goyard, Casper. Let's look at some of his portfolio. He's worked with September's Rich, who's like Yeat's brother, or not brother, but like brother. Cartier God, Youngster Jack. Just like artists I fuck with, you know what I'm saying? Like Chapo, Lil Surf World. Yeah, like I said, Casper. He's done a song with 10K Duncan, a video with 10K Duncan. Like, super dope. These are artists that I fuck with, you know what I'm saying? 3AG Pilot. Yeah. So shout out the kid for sure. Eris Klein, very talented. I love his work too. Maybe we'll get one in someday, you know? Who else? Moments Later. Moments Later, he's done visuals for Tony Snow, 10K Duncan, all of them. Super talented, super dope. I really fuck with his work. Moments Later, who else? Trippy Booth. Trippy Booth also done a lot of videos for like 645 AR, 10K Duncan. I wish I could name more off the top of my head, but here I'll have to look it up. Yeah, like they directed On Me by Tony Snow and 10K Duncan. Like great. Chalk by Tony Snow. Yeah, a lot of like Booth Pack Mookie, ATL Smook, 10K Duncan. Like super dope visual artists. And I'm pretty sure they're a team. It's more than one guy. So shout out Trippy Booth. And there was one more I wanted to mention. Oh yeah, .com Nirvan. Super talented, super tapped in, you know, worked with David Shoddy. I said David Shoddy first because he did the video for Wizard 101, which I really like.
Young people looking fashion. I just cut my screen, doing VR Star Wars in Atlanta off a beam. Why you so she said.
Yeah, he did a video for Young Bands, did a video for Summers, for Can, for Matt Ox, a lot for Summers, and Can, Baby Santana. He did the Trendy Way, you know, Yeat, September's Rich song. So he's done so many goated videos. Great visual artist for the underground scene right now. So we appreciate his work. So yeah, I guess those are the main ones I can think of off the top of my head too. Oh yeah, also shout out to Love Kills VFX, also super dope. He did the video for Sig Tucked in My Skinnies, which came out nice. And yeah, those are all the ones I can think of right now. I'm sure there's probably a couple more I could mention, but sorry if I left anyone out. Those are my favorite though, and they came to me off the top of my head because I've been fucking with them lately. So it is what it is. But I think that about ties up this episode of PODQUARiUM. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for being here. Shout out Macy for the first question, Plaque Bussy for the second question, RCY for the third question. Shout out everyone I mentioned, Salamander Sam, Ayers Klein, RCY, Moments Later, Trippy Booth. Shout out Eric Johansson, just because he's the man. He's that guy. And, yeah. Oh, one last thing I wanted to mention. I reached out to Polo Perks again, because he posted some shit being like, hey, if I owe you something, DM me. I got to get back at you, blase, blase. And Eric's actually sent it to me being like, yo, dude, maybe you should hit him up one last time, see what he says. So I hit him up again, sent him another beat. It's been like, I think less than a week, but it hasn't even, he said one DM of send the beat. I did. Never answered again. So I don't expect anything to happen. If something does, great. I don't even know if I'll drop it. I'll probably just do something else with it, but it is what it is. I just wanted to throw that in there in case anybody needed a little follow-up, and I will continue following up if anything does change. But anyway, thanks for being here. Follow me on Instagram at 1nxxko, on YouTube, Nico nxxko. Going to be dropping another single soon, the third single for level 6. So stay tuned for that. Puzzle 2, hopefully around my birthday, like mid-February. And yeah, thanks for tuning in. This has been PODQUARiUM number 3.